tone for us too. Ooh, who wants to go next?
I'll answer real quick. Oh, go ahead.
No.
Nope, you got the bell.
I totally agree with Drew. Coming from a small town and just not really being able to get out or travel as much as you would think, or as much as you do in the Marine Corps, being able to see what you have, what you don't have, and being able to fully appreciate it and understand the bigger picture of why you are in the uniform that you're in. So it brings everything full circle.
Of how I shaped it. How about you go, man? I'll take the last one on this.
All right. Yeah, I think it's a pretty big perspective thing that, the military, I'm sure in any branch, gives you some core values that generally make people, I would say, better as human beings. And then just traveling to, third world countries and just makes you that much more appreciative of what you had. I grew up in a bigger city, so I didn't have that small town like exposure, I guess. But just the traveling and seeing the ways that other people interact and do things in other countries definitely gives you a lot more perspective on life. I think a lot of the people that haven't, you don't have to join the military to travel, obviously, but haven't left their town their whole life probably don't have a lot of different viewpoints, or it's really hard for them to see things different ways. And I think that helped me a lot traveling in the military, being able to take in different perspectives and be more open-minded.
Hey, that was a really good response, man. How am I supposed to follow that? Yeah, hey, y'all.
You wanted last.
Together. I want to make Chris look stupid today. Oh, all right, let me see what I can do. Huh?
Too easy, she said.
Wow. Okay, I see you trying to hide your poker face behind those Mickey Mouse glasses. Yeah, I'm on your neck. Hey, I'm stalling right now, actually. Hey, stall me out, Debo. So I would say my outlook, because I'm gonna be honest, my dad was a Marine, and I didn't know what to expect from being in the military. And obviously, I joined at 18, like most of us did. So I didn't really know what to expect from the world. So as far as how has the military changed my outlook, I don't think it really changed my outlook in the beginning much, because I didn't really. We all have these like assumptions of what the world's going to be like, right? Obviously, sort of responsibility, getting married, having kids. We know it's not going to be as sweet as it looks from the outside, being an adult. Everybody wants to be an adult, so it's time to be an adult. But what facts,
Yeah.
What I have seen is, because of the exposure to other veterans, and is why I find it so pertinent for me to stay around veterans. Like I think I could have picked any subject or any type of group, or what's the word I'm looking for? Any type of niche to go around, but I wanted to be veteran something. I already knew veteran had to be in the name. Veteran had to be like a big part of the concept, because I've been not only motivated, but I have just gotten so many ideas from other veterans. They go out of their way to help me out. Just the standard that they hold that I've seen from other veterans, I just feel that it's kind of like helped to mold my vision of how I think the world should be. You guys set the tone and the standard for me. So I want to say thank you for that. I think we kind of
I got a question. So, first on Cancine, she says, what is let me see if I can get to it. So what are your fears about leaving the military?
Ooh.
I'll go.
All right, let's hit it. Let's see.
So I think my biggest fear about leaving the military is not having that close niche that you have here. Like even right now, I just hit 18 years. So I'm looking at a lot of places of where I do want to retire at. And I know that being in a smaller community is probably my best, is where I can best transition to, because it'll offer that same type of family environment that the Marine Corps has. Because in the Marine Corps, like, everybody watches everybody's kid, somebody's brought you chow on duty. You know, you've done something for somebody at some point, and that's what those small communities do for each other. Even with small businesses, they help each other out. You know, they find ways to filter business. Okay, I'm getting this. Let me help you bring this to you. So I think finding my fear would be just looking for that small community, that community love.
I could tackle this one so that you guys have a little time to let it soak in. One of my biggest fears is not being where I want to be, and that's honestly what's helped me that's helped drive me to pushing veteran influencers to be at the highest capacity that I can be at. Not because it's going to just benefit me, but because I've always had this thing to where I wanted to put myself in a position to where I can help others with the greatest platform that I can create. And obviously it's not me just doing it, because look, we have 3 other veterans on here right now that are helping me, and without them I don't think I'd be able to gain this attention that we're doing right now. So it's not about me, it's about the community as a whole. So my biggest fear was to get out and not have a plan, because I wanted to get out after my first 4 years, and I asked myself this: if I got out, would I regret something? And I thought about it for a while, and the answer was yes. I would regret not being a drill instructor, or at least not attempting. And I became a drill instructor because I thought I would fail. So I was like, okay, I want to do something I think there's a good chance I would fail at. There's no way I could live with myself after that. So my biggest fear after my first enlistment was getting out and regretting not accomplishing something that I set out to achieve. And you guys not everybody has to answer every question if you don't want to. If we want to just keep questions, so I'm going to go silence is kind of consent on this one.
No, I can answer this one. Especially since kind of your fear, getting after one enlistment, I can speak to that a little bit more. Because I did get out after one enlistment, and it's definitely a different perspective, because, doing that 20 gives you, I guess, some leeway in figuring out what you want to do next. You don't have to necessarily hit the ground running right when you get out. So I guess my biggest fear after getting out, after my 5 years, was not being able to support my wife. She was still finishing up school when I got out. So, I got out and I had a plan, to go to school, but then school, was a few months out. So I took a little break and ended up getting some part-time jobs while I was going to do my first year of school, just to support my family. And that was probably my biggest fear, is, not being able to have the comfort of a roof or food, which obviously being in a veteran group, I don't think that ever would have happened if I reached out, but it's still a big personal fear.
Keep it pushing.
Top, you're muted. Master, we can't hear you.
There you go.
Still no volume. Yeah, I'm not sure. I tell you what, if you want to, I don't know if the battery on your headphones is down, or if you want to tweak with that, we're going to go on to the next one, because I know I got a few questions in the feed while you're working on that. And when it cuts back on, if you want to go back to that question, we can. So I got a couple questions in my chat. So the first one is, it's coming from First Arm Williams. He said, question to the, well, I guess we can't ask that question because his mic is muted. So
I got a question for Drew too.
What's
they
that?
loading up on you, boss.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get back to you on that one. So I'm gonna go to Evan Smith. He was one of my Marines in Ordnance Shop. Ordnance, stand up in Iwakuni, Japan, 242. And he says, I find myself remembering small things from the Corps that makes me miss a very small aspect of it. What's one small remembrance that you find yourself thinking about often? Who wants to get that one? Now, granted, us two are still active duty. So, Tate, you want to hit that one?
Yeah. I would say the biggest small thing, I guess, that I miss, it's kind of counterintuitive, but just the friends and the culture that I miss overall more than anything. Every now and then, I wouldn't mind turning a wrench on a jet.
Okay. So you miss getting out there and getting greasy.
Over sitting in a classroom. But the biggest thing would just be.
Okay.
Uh-oh, we're cutting out a little bit. Okay, here we go. But yeah, mainly just the friends I made and being around those people that meant so much to me at the time. And, and then you all get out and you're, one of my buddies over in Virginia, and then one's, just all over the country.
Right. Yeah, I can definitely see that. It's even going from the drill field to going back to aviation. It's like, man, I'm starting to remember like a lot of these terms again. It's like getting back out there and working on the flight line. I definitely, there was some nostalgia to that,
Mm-hmm.
Master, is your mic good now?
You guys good? You hear me?
Oh, there we go. Hey,
all right.
You know what I'm saying?
So, touching base with the getting out and being scared. I went through TRS 3 separate times. So I went like a year and a half out. I went about a year out, and then I went about 6 months prior to, and then I went to an executive one as well. So I recruited my way and networked my way into one for E9s and above and a bunch of lieutenant colonels. But the things I got out of there really prepared me for civilian life. And I think that, and dealing with a lot of the civilians for 6 years, I was dealing with a lot of Japanese civilians, and that kind of helped me transition. So the fear of getting out wasn't as bad, especially when you're getting a job. But kind of like what they talked about, I've networked into some of the Marine Corps League here, networked in, talked to the DAV. So I've already talked to a lot of them prior to coming here. So that I already kind of established, hey, here I am. I literally just went to the recruiting office today and made liaison with the recruiter and be like, hey man, I'm going to be in your high school. So if you need something from me, I got you, and vice versa. So, it's always about reaching out to the community that's in the area and being like, hey, I'm going to be somebody that can be an advocate for not only the Marine Corps, but some of the other services. If I find the same way I was in recruiting, if I find that you're not to the caliber that we expect as a Marine, hey, if the Navy's for you, if the Army's for you, hey, you want to stay local and do Coast Guard, National Guard, by all means. The best thing for you is the best thing for the nation. So I wasn't super scared getting out. I had an easier transition, and it's great that I have a supportive wife, and she's like, hey, babe, I got you. No matter what, you do you, and I'll be here by your side. So I'm very appreciative of that.
That's awesome, having a great support group like that, And all too often I've seen those that didn't, they transition out, they're by themselves. They didn't really have family. They didn't have a spouse to help mentally stabilize them. I noticed that it does make a difference when you have support. So I'm glad you had that support factor for you.
Yeah.
So what was that? Okay. So what was the other question that we haven't asked yet. So, actually, so the question was, so there's the last question that I read for you, was from Evan Smith. So he said, what's one small remembrance that you find yourself thinking about? I know you haven't officially been retired, but like, what are you looking back reminiscing on right now? Like, I miss that about the Marine Corps.
Let's say TGI Friday parties on MSG at the Marine House.
Nice.
Those are pretty fun.
For those of you that are MSG, I'm sure you can relate to that. I've heard a little bit about it, but I haven't actually been there. So I heard it was a good time though.
Yeah, that wild out.
Oh, okay. So did anybody else want to ask a question out of their list? Because I'm gonna go back to the first one.
I got one for Drew. I don't know if he really hit it on in his answer, but Villanueva asks, when did you start looking for your second retirement? So at what point did you say, you know what, I need to start looking for something different?
I think I made that choice to transition. You talk about when I made the choice to get out. Mm-hmm. About 3 years ago. So I injured my back pretty bad. I had some herniated discs in my back with sciatica problems, and between that and just it was about the time for the kids to transition into a different part of their life. So both going into middle school, looking at the time, and I was told as a young man, hey, you'll know when it's time to get out. And those things adding up. And then, I prayed about it and I was like, hey, God, is this a time? And, I didn't get a verbal yes, but I got the feeling, and I talked with the family and was like, all right, I think it's time. And it was time for you guys to move up in the world. So, I literally would have been, I'm not saying I would have been, but when I put my package in this year, I was in zone for Master Guns, but I put my package in. I said, I don't want to be, I don't want to even be in the zone. I don't want to be even looked at, because I want all the other ones that still have the fire, still have the ability and the physical capabilities to keep pushing and leading Marines. I wanted them to be able to continue on. So, that was my choice.
I love that. What about you there, Tight Elbows? I know you're working on your second retirement right now.
Well,
Let's hear. When did you start thinking about that thing?
so it was just one night I was sitting down and I was like, if I got out today, what would I do? And that question hit me hard, and I was like, oh shit, I don't think I know. As far as I was concerned, I was content with going and being a Walmart greeter. You know what I'm saying? Probably wear my red freaking USMC hat with my freaking ribbon stack on that thing, passing out stickers, making hard corrections at the door. You know what I mean? But then I realized, life's got to be a little bit more. I got to have a little bit, something more to chew on in there.
Right.
So I decided to go with something that I love to do. So in 2017,
Tight Elbows.
to go ahead and, give birth to Tight Elbows. And Tight Elbows is awesome to me because I enjoy doing it. I enjoy doing custom work because now I'm helping somebody else's dream come to life.
Facts. That's absolutely true. And like I said, if you guys want to be all technical, so before I officially started my podcasting format, T Moody over here was the first one. You know what I'm saying? We just didn't have video at that point. You know what I'm saying? We was working from school. We were still on the Atari level. We were young pups. We ain't no grown folks yet. So we worked our way up. And, she accepted my invitation. I know she had a lot of stuff going on. So once again, as often as I can say thank you to you, you kind of gave birth to a new motivation and a vision for me to actually push a podcast. So you're looking kind of cool right now. You got the Tight Elbows in the background. Yeah, you inspire me. Absolutely.
Don't know no other way to be. It's straight swaggy, baby. Swag.
That's how we do.
Yep, food service, stand up.
Hey. What about you, Sean? Obviously right now you're doing your education. You're trying to further work toward that second career right now through education, and obviously you transitioned out. You spoke about that a little bit earlier. So when did it kind of go through your mind where you're like, I need to work on this second retirement?
So in my case, it's still trying to get the first retirement locked down, because I didn't do my 20. But, the biggest thing that went through my head was probably 3 months out. And, I really realized, I was like, what the hell am I going to do? Like, because when you're in the Marine Corps, especially if you're in the barracks or whatever, you have some level of support where if you're not the most intelligent with your money, you still got a roof over your head and you can go to the chow hall. Not saying it's the best food, but
Cut him.
You're gonna get me shot.
You said you wanted some moments. You said you wanted some moments. You might have to fire a shot here or there.
No, I'm joking, but I'm like, I'm saying, you say whatever you want.
No, but there's a level of security there where you don't have to, I guess, be as responsible on the outside as you would on the outside, and that got me learning a lot more about what I would want to do. I loved aviation, so the first thing I did was reach out to Boeing, and they're like, "Hey, we'd love to have you as a mechanic," and I was like, as much as I loved that, I'm not trying to do a lateral move here. I'm trying to get something a little bit bigger that maybe isn't as hard on my body throughout my whole life. Just the 5 years working on F-18s, not the most excruciating job, but it does take a toll on your body over time.
Trying to get
So,
that
you know,
bag, huh?
Yeah, I just tried to figure out what the best steps for me were for a career. And then I also started, like I mentioned when we were talking in the preview, I guess, when we were meeting each other, was
Right.
I started taking successful people out to lunch. I'd heard it on a podcast. Another one is like taking people out or meeting with people in like a retirement home. You know, they have a lot of wisdom. So I started doing the successful thing with lunches. I took out the owner of Wild Mike's Pizza. We actually met at a tailgate before a football game. Sat down, had a beer, and chatted.
Nice.
A good family friend of mine, Craig Rieger, who owns Rieger Coaching Consulting. It's a real estate company, a few others. And that kind of fueled some knowledge into me to learn more about money, investing, real estate, different things. So it's not just my career funding my life. You know, I have money tucked away different places, and I'm much more financially educated. So hopefully, you know, that'll probably be my second retirement, something in investing or real estate other than my career that I'm working towards.
Okay. And yeah, like I said yesterday, we have I actually did an interview on my YouTube channel with Second Lieutenant Tim Jackson. He spoke about investments, TSP. He actually broke down, showed a shared screen of you know, how to do certain things, how to get to certain documents. He actually runs a group of like a stock group, teaching like veterans of how to invest in stocks and different funds as well. So, you know, if you want to check out that interview, you know, you might be able to get some pointers off that. Maybe you guys can link up and bounce some ideas off each other. So for this point, what I want to do is, like I said, I want to keep the audience involved. We're gonna still continue to do the questions, but if you guys had anybody new jump in, you know, if we could start giving some shout outs, I'll do mine real quick. That way you guys can focus your time on yours. So Kelsey joined. What's going on? Appreciate it. Nikki Noy, Haley Jean, thank you for watching. Elizabeth and Eli Animal Garcia, appreciate it. He was one of my senior drone shutters on the depot. Winfred Morris, he's a first sergeant now. He was a hat on the depot with me. Amanda, what's going on? Shannon Housel, she was one of my interviewees here on the platform. Harry Rosado, I believe he's an officer now. He was with me in Japan. Bernadette Rhodes, what's going on? Matthew Lennox, one of my recruits. Nick Valentine, I met him in one of the veteran groups. And Aiden Fuentes, we were stationed in our first unit together. Thank you. Appreciate you guys coming on. Angel Alvarez, he was one of my gunner sons, my first unit. Danielle Dawson, she's a lieutenant now. She was one of my students at ASU. And Terry Harrelson, sergeant major from the depot. Thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for joining.
Wow. Yeah, I want to give a shout out, a couple of shout outs out here. My sergeant major, just want to put it out there. It take a lot for a Marine to say. You could call him, oh, that's Sergeant Major, but no, that's my Sergeant Major. Sergeant Major Fortner is in the house, giving her support here. Got a couple other people, same one, still throwing it down. Madero say he want to get on. I told him go ahead and DM me so we can pencil him in. We're gonna put some more people out there so people are wanting to join. Got some more questions as far as I guess more so towards the ones that are already out. Well, let me get back to it.
While you're getting those questions, can I give a few shout outs real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's get it.
Got a couple people here. You already said Harry Rosado, and yeah, he was in the Okuni with us. Shout out to him. And I believe he's still in his schooling for MECEP right now.
Okay.
Last I talked to him out in Florida. Scott Arriaga, also a Marine that was in the Okuni when we were there, airframer. And then Aaron Alfaro, also Marine that was in the Okuni, and then 314 with me afterwards. So shout out to all of them. Thanks for joining.
Era.
I got
What
a
you
couple
got,
as well.
Masson?
So I got a Gunny, Danny Ziegler, my replacement at the Northside Chow Hall. Iwakuni is online. My former deck commander, now he's a GSO out in, he works for the Department of State. So he was the one that was like, hey man, you should come to the Department of State, get a GS job. You know, you can retire, get a second career. And then he had mentioned on my timeline, he's like, hey, he keeps saying second retirement. He means second career. So I'm gonna make that correction because he had thrown it out there. See who else. I think that's about it as of right now. A lot of questions, like you said. There's some questions thrown out there, so we'll get to them.
Right. So also, just real quick, so we're gonna get to it, but if we can start, because it's actually something that pertains to one of the guests, which is Sergeant Major Harrelson actually asked. He said he joined in late. He said, "What is tight elbows?" But before you get to that, all right, I want you to destroy and that whole subject. You know what I'm saying? The links and everything. But I want to say, while we have all the attention, first of all, once again, thank you all for joining us. For those of you that joined late, this is a new segment that we're doing. It's called Ask a Vet. As you see, we're creating like a little panel, and these don't have to be work type questions, which honestly, I would rather it not be necessary work type questions. Just it could be anything. Like, for example, yesterday we were saying like, what's your favorite type of car, front yard or backyard? So you can ask us those questions, but we try to lean a little bit away from like the political side of things. Like, if we can, we're just a bunch of vets trying to get together to, just to have a good platform to talk it out. Next thing, please, if you haven't already done so, make sure you guys follow me on Veteran Influencers, my Facebook page. Also, Veteran _influencers on Instagram, and my YouTube channel, Veteran _influencers. Because what we're going to do is we're going to take all this attention we're getting from Facebook, and we're going to eventually start transferring over to YouTube. That'll be the channel that we actually stream from. So if you haven't already done so, please do that at some point. Veteran _influencers on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, punch that bell all the way out, and make sure you follow the movement. So without further ado, what is tight elbows?
So obviously, if you got to ask about tight elbows, that makes me question your whole drill. But no, I'm just joking. Just joking. No, but tight elbows. So tight elbows, we all know it was a correction drill instructors made. Corrections that I made. You run around screaming tight elbows, tight elbows. Hey, motivation as well. But I decided to create a clothing line that's not only just my brand, but I can produce others. So I do a lot of custom work. So tight elbows is a motivational custom work apparel. So you want hats? I got hats. You want shirts? I got shirts. You want cups? I got cups. What you want? I got it. And I'll put it on there for you because I'm trying to make your dream come true. How you like that?
I love it. Celebration's over here laughing.
I think you were supposed to hit the bell after that one.
Oh,
dang. Hey, corrections. You know what I'm
saying? Solid correction. Tight elbows.
All right, so let's go into our questions. I think we all have probably a million. My feed is getting blown up with questions, but I feel like I'm taking up a brunt of it. So let's hear from some of y'all questions that y'all got for the people.
That we have for the people?
Oh, from the people.
Oh, from the people. I got Jenny on the line. She's asking, how is dealing with the VA? Are you nervous to get out and deal with the VA?
Top, you might be the only one in that because I ain't dealt with it yet.
So I guess my suggestion is to, wherever you're getting out, contact a local VSO, so veteran service officer. Find somebody, either pick an agency. I picked the DAV, Disabled Armed Veterans. So I found one in my local area where I was retiring. I looked them up online. I gave them a phone call. I sent them an email. And then, because of COVID, they weren't in the office, of course, but they called me back, and I've already set up some appointments through him. And, he's a retired Navy vet that's taking care of me. So he's already got my information. He's about to pull my caseload over and start setting up the appointments. I've heard from a lot of other people that the process isn't as awesome as it would be if we had done it prior to getting out. So I was trying to do my stuff prior to leaving Iwakuni, but hey, it is what it is. But definitely find somebody that has been through the process, that knows the system and knows who to talk to, and that can screen your records before you get out. So, I mean, I started, like I said, I went through TRS a couple times. So I started making sure all my stuff was annotated and made copies of all my records. I got them all on disc. I listened to the old guys like me when I was a young person, and even T Money over there, she has 17, 18 years. You still got a couple more years to I wouldn't call it pad your record, but just get it all annotated. Everything that's hurt you, and what the VA is it wants to take care of you once you're out. It doesn't want to just take care of the things that happen to you while you're in. It's all the residual effects of everything that you went through. So remember that. There's firsthand, there's secondary, there's even tertiary stuff that could happen in the future. So you got to man up or woman up and be like, hey, you know what? This is wrong. This is what's wrong with me. This is what I'm claiming. And, as long as it's honest, just do your thing.
Good answer.
Awesome. Yeah, I like that. That was a nice, thorough response. Quit showing off, Masson. Come on now.
That's that Masson response.
Yeah, I got some on that too. I didn't go the DAV route when I got out. I actually read up on most of the stuff and did it on my own. Kind of wish I wouldn't have, because it probably was a little more painful than it needed to be, but I'm just more of the person that doesn't like to be waiting on someone else. Just rather get it done myself. All of my stuff went through fine for the most part, but I would say, especially to any active duty that are watching, don't fall into the trap of I need to be at work, I need to be at work, I need to be at work. Go into medical when you need to go into medical. I did not do that as much as I should have. And I know a lot of people just don't want VA benefits in general. They feel like they're using the system, but that's not what it is. The way I look at it is, even if you're not getting money from the VA, just getting it attached to your service. So, say I'm 45 and my back falls apart, I don't have the stress of paying for that, because even if they weren't sending me checks the whole time, I'm still service connected there and can get help. So the payments are nice, don't get me wrong, but I think at the end of the day, just making sure your body's covered is the most important. And the VA, just when you got to deal with them, if you got to sit on the phone, my best advice is, it's probably going to be an hour hold, 45 minutes, 30 minutes. It's not going to be a short phone call. Well, the phone call is short, but the wait time is typically pretty long. So just find something to do that, watch some TV and just throw them on speakerphone. Just kind of space out until you hear someone talking to you. Be prepared, depending on your state, to travel I've had to travel up to an hour and a half for an appointment before.
Hell no.
And obviously that depends on your state. Oregon, there's not a lot of military stuff up here, so I don't have as many options. Say if you're in San Diego, it's probably pretty easy, or out in South Carolina or something like that. So just, be prepared to travel to whatever appointments you need to do. And don't really worry about it too much, because the VA also does pay for mileage. So it's a good thing to have. And just really stay on top of your stuff. And e-benefits, you can see the statuses of all your claims, whether it's processing, or they'll also ping you on your e-benefits if you need additional documentation. And if you don't follow up on that within a certain amount of time, you'll definitely just get your whole thing canceled, which is really annoying. So just make sure to stay on top of it. Don't miss appointments, and everything should be all right. You might not agree with all their decisions, but there's different routes you can go if you don't agree with how they decided the first time.
Yeah, you definitely seem like you have a lot of knowledge with that. We definitely got to get you onto actually one of the podcast episodes, because I want to get all that knowledge out in an actual on an actual interview. Like I said, you seem like you have a lot of knowledge in that area. We definitely have to tackle that. I just had, so to go on with this, Evan Smith just said he just traveled for 2 hours to his VA appointment today, and it only took 15 minutes. Sorry about that, Evan. Shouldn't have got out. No, I was kidding. Oh, snap. Oh, man. All right. So Gunny Berry just said, check out the Marine Corps Skill Bridge Employment Training Program. If you haven't heard of it, I'm gonna go back to this feed. I'm gonna try to look that up and link it in one of the actual video descriptions at some point, so that if it is definitely, it seems like, because Gunny Berry's a good dude. He works at the INI, the S3 INI up at Luke Air Force Base here in Arizona, and I want to make sure that we get that information out to the viewers. Anybody else got a good question that they want to read?
I got a lot of them from the so Patty Martin. She works in Iwakuni. She's actually in charge of HR.
Okay.
She threw a question out. She says, knowing what you know today, would you go back in time? If you went back in time, would you re-enlist in the Marine Corps, or would you do it all over again?
Did you say re-enlist? Now, are we talking like, would you do another enlistment, or would you start over?
Would you join the Marine Corps? Like, if you were to go back in time, knowing what you know now, would you join?
I say yes. I don't see my life going any other way. This is definitely what I was meant to do, what I was put here to do and be a part of. So if I had to do it over again, it would be a definite yes for me.
What about you, Sean?
Yeah, I don't. There's no way I wouldn't do it. There's just, I was.
So hesitant, Sean.
There's definitely. Sorry, second cup of coffee's hitting me now.
Hell yeah.
No, I definitely don't think there's any other option I would have done, even if I could go back. I wasn't the best high school student, so I knew that college wasn't in my path at the time.
Right.
And now that I did my 5 years in the Marine Corps, I'm a pretty successful college student, a lot more than I would have believed I would have been. So there's no way I would take that back.
I would say for me, I think that's kind of like you can answer that question from so many different angles. So you said, knowing what you know now, would you do it again?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I've gained a lot more knowledge of and seen like a side of becoming an entrepreneur, at least had like some practice of actually doing, becoming an entrepreneur. Not saying that if I were to get out, I'm gonna just be this successful, like, $1 million a year, $2 million a year company or anything like that. So to me, it's kind of hard to say if I would know what I know now, would I do it? Because I know a lot of things outside of the military and a lot of skills that I could actually utilize towards the second career. So it's honestly hard to say if I would do it again, but I'm gonna say I don't have any regrets. Hopefully that kind of makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah, of course.
So with everybody saying their spill on, yes, I would stay in, or, what have you, has the Marine Corps ever felt like a crutch to stay in?
I guess that kind of goes toward that question that somebody asked earlier about what are the things that you would be scared about getting out.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tackle this one so you guys can spend a little bit of time. I'll kind of hit it, get in there, and get out. I think kind of for the most part, because like I said, I actually thought about getting out, not only for, because there were just a few things I just didn't want to deal with. If I'm just being honest, after the first enlistment, but also I had a lot of offers to play in college for basketball. I had a lot of coaches that actually were talking to me, wanted me to, to actually play for their program. So that was something that I was thinking about transitioning out, but then I started thinking about it. It's like, I'm already having car problems now. I was like, what if, this goes like this, or it doesn't work out? What if I get injured? And it's like, I just completely left a career behind to pursue something that's not guaranteed. So I think I guess in that case, it could have been a crutch, but yeah.
I think at times it can be a crutch because, from day one, somebody's telling you what to do, how to do it, when to do it, where to do it, and, what to do it with. So it's like, you get so caught up in that at times, maybe there was moments where I was like, oh shit, I don't think I should. Just like you said, I got this going on. And the more you stay in, the more bills you start to acquire. The one cell phone bill turns into the car note that you probably shouldn't have bought in the first place with the 25% interest rate, and then that turns into the house, and it turns into the kids, it turns into the families. You have more reasons to stay. So it's like, you know what, I might want to just stick it right here. And I think it's something that you have to find within yourself that, you know what, with or without it, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to survive.
I like it.
That's where I'm at right now.
Boom.
Well,
I think from more of a, an E5 and below standpoint, I think there definitely are some higher leadership that probably, I can't read their minds, but they seem like they should have gotten out a few enlistments before they did. And maybe they're scared to actually face real life and outside of the Marine Corps, and didn't get out because of that. I'm sure they had families and kids and cars and house. It's just a lot of stuff to, if you don't know exactly what you're going to do, I'm sure that can be scary for a lot of people.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know we did a pretty big focus on what the crowd wants to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Hey, let's go over some of the questions that we got. Let's break it up a little bit. So before we do go over that, like I said, make sure you guys also follow Tamara on Tight Elbows. Was it Tight Elbows LLC? Or excuse me, Tight Elbows 1775?
Tight Elbows 1775 for IG and Tight Elbows on Facebook.
Absolutely, because we are going to be, like I said, we're not going to only be streaming here on individual pages. We're going to be taking it to the veteran influencers. Eventually, we'll try some Tight Elbows. So we're going to switch it up a little bit. So the more places you guys are actually following us on, you guys will get those notifications. And once again, if you haven't already, you're new to the chat, on everybody's side, veteran_influencers on Instagram, veteran influencers on Facebook, and then also veteran_influencers on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, hit the follow, hit that bell. Make sure you get all notifications in the future. We're going to be doing some streams on there, and that's also where I stream my podcast every Wednesday night, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. So we go live every week. We have a new guest. Make sure you guys tune in. If you want to become a guest in the future on the podcast, or if you want to be one of our panelists here on the Ask a Vet, and we have many more criteria coming up, make sure you email me at veteranинfluencers@gmail.com, or you can just DM one myself or T Moody over there on Tight Elbow 1775, and let us know that you want to be a guest if you have a specific time, or if you have a specific subject that you want to talk about as well. So let's get back to it. Who's got them questions on deck? I'm saying, what we got?
No,
I got one for
that you wrote
Andrew.
down.
For Andrew, what was your favorite place on MSG and why?
Oh man,
Don't snitch on yourself either. No, I'm just kidding.
no,
Yeah, you still got a little bit more time left, so I'd be careful.
I do. I'm still I'm bi-political. I'm not gonna. Man, I love both my posts. I think the place that I loved the most was going down to the Ardennes forest, like the where the battle of like World War I was. So we got a chance to walk through and see Luxembourg and see like the battlegrounds and see the indentions and the tanks and everything still out there because they can't remove them. It was so epic. Like I would just walk through and I was in awe that we were walking the hallowed grounds that a lot of soldiers and Marines and everybody else had lost their lives on. It was unforgettable. It was just crazy, and it was definitely memorable. Although I do love El Salvador, but it's pretty tight.
Yeah, and I guess something I should mention, since there's probably quite a few people here that aren't military related, is MSG is embassy duty. So if you're wondering what that was.
Awesome. Anybody else want to tackle one of the questions?
I would like to.
Go ahead, Drew.
I would like to know, who is your biggest influence in your life? Pre-military, post-military, in the military. Who influences you the most and is like been that it could be a rock, it could be the person you're married to, it could be, you know, a mentor that has like broke you out of your shell when you were, you know, a junior Marine. Who is that biggest influence that kind of turned the tide of either you staying in or getting out, or you wanting to do drill instructor duty or recruiting duty, or, you know, get out and go to college? Who is your biggest influence?
Hey, I'm bringing the heat today. Man, that's a good one. You want to get on? Who wants to tackle this one?
Nobody.
I'll do
I
it.
got it. I
Oh,
got
you
it.
got it? You got it.
Oh, I got my top 3. I guess, well, it could be a slew of people, but I guess overall influencer would be my father. You know, my dad, he's an entrepreneur out the ass. You know, my dad can sell anything. He can make money happen. I don't know how this dude does it, but I'm glad I got them genes, you know. Also, I guess when I was in high school, I had this one teacher, Miss Fontenot, big shout out to her. She was my speech teacher, and, you know, she just pretty much didn't take my shit. She did not hesitate to kick me out of class when I was acting stupid or just, you know, being who I was, you know. The bell been here. It didn't just start today. This thing been here, but
Troublemaking.
you know, that's why I needed a change. I had to join the military.
Yeah.
And I guess in the military is just a slew of awesome leaders that I had the opportunity to run into. Off top, I have my Master Sergeant. He's retired, Master Sergeant Alexander. You know, he taught me a lot of stuff. He showed me how to be that mess hall manager, how to be that 3381, that leader, you know, of Marines, and how you can make, you know, a shitty environment a fun environment. Because we all, Drew, you know how the chow hall can get. If you ain't having fun, that can be like the most just horrible place to wake up and go to.
He's like, don't I ever?
People like that, and, you know, sergeant majors and master gunnery sergeants that I've, you know, had opportunities to sit down with and just really pick their brains, and they allow me to do that. You know, that carries a lot of weight, and it keeps me pushing and influences me to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Who else wants to tackle this one?
I'll go for it. So I guess I would kind of have to say it in sections. I think pre-military, I didn't really see anyone as an inspiration. But going into the military, looking back at it, I don't truly think I was inspired by many people pre-military. But through, you know, going through the Marine Corps, you know, I had some very important figures that kind of molded me who I was. Just a lot of strong sergeants that, you know, really brought me up and gave me the attention I needed to be successful. And then, you know, some good staff and COs along the way as well. And probably another good inspiration was my first mentee in the Marine Corps. You know, I was super qualified young corporal, and, you know, I just got to mold this one Marine and just kind of see him grow and counsel him along the way. And that was inspiring as well, as much as the leadership was, seeing my subordinates grow and become, you know, as qualified as I was, if not more. It got to the point where even when I was out, you know, my last guy I was training texted me like 6 months out, and he's like, hey, I got, you know, I guess in layman's terms, you know, he had the highest qualification on aircraft 6 months after I got out, and I was training with him up to that. You know, that was inspiring even after I got out, that, you know, he not only did he make that, but when he got that qualification, he thought of me, the person training him, sent me a text, you know, a screenshot of his account saying he got it. You know, that's pretty inspiring.
Nice.
Family wise, you know, my parents and my in-laws very supportive of me, my wife. And then another aspect that I kind of learned post-military was, you know, just getting coaches that can inspire you and kind of help you break out of your comfort level. It's pretty easy, you know, to just become comfortable and be all right where you are, but breaking through that and learning how to be comfortable being uncomfortable is a very hard thing to do, and that's something that a good coach can help you do. So shout out to my 2 coaches that I talk to regularly, Craig Rieger and Jesse Gilmore. They're both have brought me a long way. It's a lot more than I would have thought.
Awesome.
So I got a couple. So pre-military, so like I've been food service since I was 14. So I did a lot of stuff, and then my dad and my mom both loved to cook. I used to sit there and watch my dad. You know, we're big hunters, so he would kill deer and get venison, and we'd make venison jerky and do stew. And just watching him cook got me involved and interested in cooking. So I went to a career tech center, and Chef Carl Maylin, he's on my Facebook. I still talk to him even to today. That's 26 years later-ish. He got me really to the passion. He built the passion in me for food service. And I transitioned that into the military and did a couple of duty stations. But I think the first person that really like influenced me a lot was Doug Boma, retired gunny. He worked at Edson Range with me on Pendleton, and he brought me in as a young corporal. And he's like, all right, you are Andrew, but I'm going to treat you as Andrew outside of work. When we go to work, I'm gunny and you're fucking Sergeant Walters. I was like, roger that. And he got a chance to really mentor me and teach me. And as life went on, there were a lot in between, but the last and biggest mentor I think I've had was his name's Curtis Rice. He's a Sergeant Major for 11th Marines right now. I know he was the one that when I got off recruiting duty was like, hey, are you going to go to school? Are you going to take college? I was like, oh yes, first sergeant at the time. First sergeant, I'm going to take college. He's like, all right, good to go. He let it go about a month. You going to take college? Oh yeah, first sergeant, I'm just getting established. I'm going to learn this job. I'm going to go to school. And about a month and a half later, he's like, hey, you, me, and Christian, we're with some smoothies. You want some smoothies? Oh yeah, roger that. Let's get in the car. What did that mug do? He took us straight to the learning center on Pendleton. He's like, we are not leaving until you sign up for class. And I was like, oh, son of a.
Kidnapping. I like it.
And he got me, and that was good because that's what I needed. I needed that foot in the butt to be able to continue my education. And it took like 7 years, but I finally got at least my bachelor's degree out the way before I got out. And, you know, big shout out to him. He really stuck it with me and made sure that I did that. And then since I've been out, of course, you know, my wife is my inspiration. My kids are my inspiration. Like they're the reason that I live. So it's a great ride. They're influencers on my life on a daily basis.
That's what's up. And that's good. I think Chris ran away. I don't know.
He doesn't want to answer. He's scared now.
I think he over there with the cartel, you know. I don't know about his backdrop. That stuff looks too real, you know what I'm saying?
Oh.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pose a question, you know, seeing that, you know, old Sean talking about the chow hall and whatnot. You can't tell me that there wasn't one meal that when the chow hall made it, you was like, hell yeah, I got to be there. So what is the one meal, hands down, that the chow hall made that you were like, yep, that's me. Gonna swipe that card, turn in that chow hall, that meal card number, I'm in there.
You know, the one thing, and it wasn't anything special, but the one thing I did enjoy getting from the chow hall consistently was, you know, the omelet station, I would actually just get the eggs and then I would just make it like a scramble or have them make it a scramble. That was probably, you know, breakfast, or I was on night crew a lot too. So, you know, there's some slim pickings sometimes at mid-rats, but, you know, that omelet station is definitely a lifesaver when it's 1 a.m. and you want some food.
I feel you on that. Top, what you got? Anything that you saw come across that menu?
I think turkey curry day was my jam. Man, and I brought that to Northside afterwards. So we did like the specialty bars, and that was one of the ones that got cut, and because it wasn't as popular. But I was like, nah, bro, we're bringing curry back. I'm gonna put it on the main line. They can do whatever they want to do, but they're making curry every week. And I had one specific Japanese guy that used to make it every week. I'm like, Is he working Friday? Okay, no, he's working Thursday. Okay, we're making it on Thursday then. Because he had a specific way of making it. It was amazing.
Yeah. See,
Oh,
my dish was, I don't know why, but for some odd reason, tater tot casserole.
Mm-hmm.
Tater tot casserole was my thing. I was like, yo, once I saw it come across, and especially if it landed on my watches day, oh, we definitely making this thing up. I freaking love that. And on ship, they do chuck wagon stew. You ever had that?
Mm-hmm.
Chuck wagon stew, it's like, it's a childhood. It brings back childhood memories because all that is freaking ground beef and pork and beans.
And rice and roni. And some rice and roni.
There
It's
you
actually
go.
pronounced poke. It's poke and beans.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Get
it's
it
like,
right.
man, we doing home stuff right. Well, we had to keep it going.
Yeah.
You was talking to the cops over there or something. I don't know.
He was getting his delivery.
So Gunnarshan Berry on my side, he's like, true leaders don't create followers; they create more leaders.
Mm.
I love that. I love that, and it's crazy because I could see kind of the officer side of the session program with officers by being at the university, like the differences between how enlisted get trained and how officers get trained, and the officers even at OCS they're thrown into billets like right off the bat, and you're getting evaluated on your ability to do something you've never done before, like to actually be in charge of it. You haven't even done it, but now you have to be in charge of it, and you're getting evaluated from your peers. It's like, I mean, think about that. In recruit training, it's like, yeah, unless you have a billet or whatever, you could just be OFP and just like hide out in the background. I'm not gonna lie, I've had recruits. I'm like, when the hell did you get here? Oh, I've been here the whole time. I was like, how? You know what I'm saying? I'm just, usually you would hide in the Foot Locker or something, I don't
I'm
know.
gonna take him to the pit, get reacquainted.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not going to confirm nor deny. There's always a
No,
good
that's your
reason
job.
and
That's
according
your
to the SOP. Yo, I missed the question. I had to step out for a second. My little fat baby is getting hungry. But did I miss anything? Like, what was the last question? I heard you guys talking about like dishes. Talking about the
So
chow
the
hall.
last question was, out of all the meals you had, like the chow hall, because Sean had his little beat, but I still love him. I love him to death, though. You know what I'm saying? You can't win them all. I'm a cook. I hear it all the time. But anyway, the question was, what was your favorite meal at the chow hall? Like hands down, once you saw it, you was like, hell yeah, got to be there.
So I can tell you the one I'm like, when I saw it, I knew it was gonna be a bad day. Was either meatloaf or what was the other one? Something similar to meatloaf.
Salisbury steak.
What is it?
Salisbury steak.
Yeah.
That's the backup choice of a name.
Salisbury steak and meatloaf. And them is fighting words right there. Or
and
if
you just ran out of steak, get that Salisbury out.
it just wasn't it for me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, kudos to those if I would say my favorite.
Ravioli too. Ravioli is a damn good backup. Back it up, raviolis.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, ravioli was cool, but I wasn't. When I go to the chow hall, I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't really in the mood for like a soupy type food. Like I mean, I guess it's not really soup, but I mean, when you scoop it, there's spaghetti sauce in a bowl, so it's soupy.
Yeah.
Am I reaching? I don't know. But my favorite was on the Marine Corps birthday.
Yeah.
When you get that lobster tail and you get the steak. Oh!
Yeah, buddy.
And I made sure I was a double rat. So whoever was in charge of the chow hall, me and them were friends. So a little bit of birthday cake.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like one of the best times at the chow hall is during the holidays, because everybody, normally all the watchers get together because we all got to prep. So it takes the whole entire chow hall to get ready for that meal. That's what
Right.
people don't see. Like we're there the day before, the night before, prepping all of that stuff. So when you come in tripping about why you don't have no more melted butter, then go ahead.
Ain't nobody got time for none of that. That's funny, the chow hall, man. Like I will say this, and I'm not just saying that because you're on the panel. Like Iwakuni's chow hall was legit. And not only was it legit just because of the good food, but the service was second to none. Like second to absolutely none. Master Sergeant, the way you ran that chow hall, the way you ensured customer service was like damn near perfect. If someone, jacked up an order or whatever it is like that, you were already like, okay, how can we fix this? We need to make this better. I always saw you walking around, asking, you're talking to the people that are eating, like, hey man, is the food good or not? Is it cold? What can we do to change it? And I remember we had those little slips that we filled out and we put it in the suggestion box or whatever, and it always got fixed. Yeah. So I noticed that. And it was extremely clean in there. The lighting was perfect. That was probably the best experience in a chow hall it felt good to walk in the chow hall. So
that's our job. That's our job, to take you away from your everyday life.
Yep.
You working, you busting your butt like Tate be busting his butt, like fixing planes and doing all that stuff, and he comes in, he wants to just kind of let it all away, watch some TV, listen to some music, get on the Wi-Fi, which is free, to just be able to chill out and have a good meal. We want to be that oasis away from the everyday life. And that was my whole life mood, because that's what I want to do when I get out. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm about to do the same thing in the civilian world. So I wanted to make sure that the Marines and service members in the Navy, because there's a lot of Navy there now, get a chance to get the same experience as they would be if they went to a restaurant, because they should get that experience. They should get that opportunity. And like I told my cooks, if it doesn't look good and it doesn't taste good, it doesn't go online. It doesn't go on the serving line. You don't serve it. You don't cut them short. If they want seconds, hey man, go eat what you got and come back up and get some more. You know what I mean? Like, don't get greedy and eat like 7 steaks, but
Hey, come on now. That's tomato.
Yeah, some of us gotta keep a budget. You know what I mean? But it was that love of food service, because I chose food service and it chose me, and I wanted to give everybody the same opportunity to get the same chow. And she talked about backups, man. I tried not to run as many leftovers or backups as possible. I was like, make it all, man, make it all. Put it out there. Give them the everything they do right. Give them everything, because I want to make sure that they get the best experience. And it paid off, because the comment cards came in and the inspections came through, and my team was fortunate enough to take the WPT Hill Best Mess Hall this last year. And
nice.
It was great. It was nice. And then freaking COVID hit and couldn't do anything. Couldn't go to a food show. Wanted to go down and see that. That would have been cool to go to Chicago. But I'll be there next year.
Nice.
With my beard.
Hey, line that thing up. Clean your thing. I'll keep it clean. That's awesome. All right. So did everybody ask a question already that they had written down? I haven't. Actually, you know what? I haven't even gone over my. I stepped out for a second. I didn't go over my inspirations. Did we all do inspirations already?
Yeah.
All right. I'll do mine real quick, because I don't want to I want to continue to push forward. So, I would say, without knowing, my dad was definitely a big inspiration. As I look back, I realized how much he actually did for me. And obviously, at the time, my dad was really strict. So sometimes you don't appreciate what you have at that point, especially when it comes to a parent. I would say during the Marine Corps, I would say one of my coaches, Coach Phil, that dude was like probably the main person that always believed in how good I could be and what my potential was, and always believed that I was better than I thought I was at basketball, playing for the Camp Pendleton team. Coach Crawford as well. That guy was like always pushing me, and I felt like I didn't really always get the opportunity that I deserved. And to him, he was just like, well, work harder. Okay, cool. We'll work harder. And I'm just like, and I would just continue to push myself to work harder than I probably ever would have had he not done that. I want to give a shout out to 2 sergeants major that I actually give a shout out to on my little going away from Corpus Corps speech that I did. The first one is going to be Sergeant Major Captain. He just recently retired. I appreciate you for everything. I know a lot of you guys all. Tam, you know who Sergeant Major Captain is? Okay. He was my sergeant major at 242, and then he moved on to another unit of 152 while we were out in Japan. When you say leader, damn, always walked in with a smile on his face. I always heard him. He came down to maintenance. He never tried to step on the maintenance chief's toes. Like, he would take the staff and COs. We all did events together. He would run with us. I mean, God, the guy was about to retire after 30 years doing the same PT as us, you know, and we're complaining after being in for like 10 years. It's just always motivated. Always had, if he didn't have the answer, I always had a way to do it. And he wasn't afraid to actually be down there with the Marines. He didn't just hide in his office to hide behind his billet or his rank. He was a Marines Marine. He is a Marines Marine. And I want to say salute to you, Sergeant Major, Jason, whatever you want to be called nowadays. I still got to get a hold of you for an interview, but I want to say thank you. Your impact is like going to be everlasting amongst the veterans, you know, that are in the Marine Corps today. And so many people have been impacted from your leadership. So I just want to say thank you. I know you're not really watching right now. You know, you're getting your house built, so you have other things to worry about. But I want to say thank you. The other Sergeant Major I want to say thank you to is Sergeant Major Garza. Sergeant Major Garza, I didn't meet you until I actually became the chief at Corporal's Course, and you were my direct chain of command. You literally gave me the entire leeway that actually helped me out as a staff NCO. You allowed me to lead the Corporal's Course and to change things how I wanted to do it. And you always supported me in all my decisions. So I want to say thank you so much. You know, once again, a leader's leader. I know you had some injuries from the number of jumps that you've done out of airplanes, but you know, you constantly push yourself as hard as you could. And I just want to say thank you. And there's so many people that have been impacted from you. You didn't always tell me what I wanted to hear. You gave me great guidance. And like I said, the best thing is you allowed me to actually be a leader while playing in the background and just, you know, giving me constructive criticism as I went. So thank you so much. You helped me to allow the Marines to progress in their careers as well, by allowing the sergeants to get the corporal, the colonel fit reps, which helped them out for promotion. So I just want to say thank you so much. I appreciate you for that. My last two, I don't want to be on my soapbox too long, is my sister. My sister is an absolute beast. She never complains. She works her, you know what, off all the time. She's always willing to help. She can manage her time like it's no one's business. I never see her get frustrated. And like I said, she's always positive no matter what. So thank you, sis. I love you. And my son keeps me going all the time. So every time I either think about wanting to possibly quit or slow down, or I get frustrated about something, I just think of my son as like this. He's one of the reasons why I started this whole thing in the first place, because I wanted to create more time when I do retire. That way I'm not just starting something when I retire, and I'll have more time for him. So shout out to all you great people. I appreciate you guys impacting my little bit of a life, you know? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I missed a few, and then I got some new shout outs as well.
Let's hear them.
Thinking about it more, I guess I did have an inspiration at a younger age. That was probably my middle brother. He's a Marine as well, and I was actually going to join the Air Force.
Okay.
That was my thought, you know, around 15, 16 years old. Oh, I'll go join the Air Force. My brother joined the Marine Corps, and I went down to his graduation, and, you know, I saw that whole ceremony, and I was like, no, I can't be in the Air Force anymore. I was like, no, I gotta be
wow.
I gotta be like these guys. Like, this isn't it. So, you know, shout out to my brother for that. He's in MECEP down at the Citadel right now. He just got off the drill field.
Okay.
So shout out to him, big inspiration to, you know, put me on the path that I'm on now. And then another big inspiration when I was in, especially, you know, my first year in the fleet was in the training squadron out in Miramar. And that's, you know, just a big beast that you don't really get to see a lot of culture. And moving to VMFA 242 in the smaller climate there, I got to enjoy a very tight-knit and strong group of staff and COs when I first showed up, including Chris here. You know, it was kind of like a power group of staff and COs, but you'd also see them go out. You know, you'd be out with your buddies and you would see them going out on debts to the bars or whatever. You'd see them interact and actually looking like they enjoy life. Where at the training unit, you know, you'd see staff and COs only at work and they just look so grumpy all the time. But then the 242 climate, shout out to Chris. Like I said, he was part of that strong staff NCO group. And then
Appreciate you.
Warrant Officer High now, I believe.
Yeah.
He was part of that. Banda and Wagner, Staff Sergeant Wagner, well, Gunny Wagner at this time. I don't know if he's off the drill field now, but
yeah, he is.
They're all a very, very good group of staff NCOs to kind of give younger Marines hope, that if you want to stay in, there's a good way to do it, and the friendships stay and it's not miserable. And then I think the last one would be Lieutenant Colonel Basco now. He was a great CO, awesome guy, and he'd just kind of fly anything. He was a crazy dude. It's awesome to be led by someone like him.
Yeah, that guy's definitely. I was so spoiled. I felt having Sergeant Major Captain and Colonel Basco. When I saw those two together, not only did they kind of they're perfect, they just meshed together so well. But I don't think I've ever had that combination of a Sergeant Major and CO like that. It was literally, it made you want to go to work. I loved it. We were spoiled, man. People don't understand. When they say you don't realize what you have until you don't have it. We were a spoiled unit by having that CO and that Sergeant Major. That's like the greatest two combination of CO Sergeant Major I've ever been a part of, and I'm gonna just be completely honest with that.
Yeah, and then the new shout outs. We got Brian Walker on here now. Maybe retired now. I know he's Master Sergeant Ordnance.
Yep.
So he's on now watching us. Thanks for joining us. And then Gunny Callan, retired. Biggest pain in my ass in maintenance control, but very, very smart, knowledgeable guy. Thanks for joining.
Who else got shout outs? Anybody new? I got a couple new.
I want to give a shout out to Julian Munoz.
Julian?
You know what it means.
My name's Julian.
What happened?
I said, just quit playing. He's Julian.
Oh. That's it?
And Joe Myers. Me and JoJo go back to Spires of Sherwood. That's where I used to live when I was coming up. Him, my little brother, and our neighbors, we all used to kick it together on Fridays, thinking we were the shit, smoking Black and Miles and drinking some Mike's Hard Lemonade. We thought we was really rebellious at that time, not doing a damn thing.
But you were of age, right?
Oh, yeah.
No. Okay. Yeah. I'm just playing. Let's see who I got. Arias, you know Arias. He recently got promoted to staff sergeant, so congratulations to you, Arias. Who else? Robert Barrera, appreciate you stopping by. I was with him in Japan. I used to break his ankles all the time on the basketball court. CJ Towns, what's good, my guy? I appreciate you for stopping by. He's always showing support. Gunny Berry said thank you to food service. Fort Lee represent bulk fuel, by the way. Who else? Matthew Lee, we were drone sergeants together. He was a drone sergeant with me on the same team. My first cycle. Dean Price, Master Gunner Sean Price. He was one of my coaches at one point for the Camp Pendleton basketball team. Like you said, Brian Walker was going on top. Appreciate you. Harry Rosado's back in the building. And John Elijah Thompson, he was one of my recruits as well when I was on the depot. So salute to you guys all for supporting the movement, because that's what this is. It's a movement. This ain't just a panel. This ain't just a live session. I'm here at the beach. Never mind that. But this is an absolute movement. I'm telling you, it's only going to go up from here. Like I said, today we already had like so many more people viewing already. So I just want to say thank you all for that so far. If you haven't already, you know what I'm saying, I'll have the link for veteran influencers, you know what I'm saying? The merch, you know what I'm saying? Veteran influencers merch, you know what I'm saying? I we got hoodies as well. I got my hoodie upstairs. You know what I'm saying? I got the mug right here. You know how we do. Cling, cling, cling. You know, I got the tank top, got the regular shirt, got the hoodies, sweat top, you know what I'm saying, socks, whatever you need, I got it. Just make sure you go to veteran underscore influencers on my YouTube, veteran underscore influencers on Instagram as well, and veteran influencers on Facebook. Continue to support the movement, and, you know, we'll have all those links out for you on these videos. We're going to continue to do this as well. And make sure you guys go get your Tight Elbows merch. Hit up T Moody over there in the DMs, down in the DMs, you know what I'm saying, for that Tight Elbow gear at Tight Elbows 1775 on her Instagram. And then same thing on Facebook. Like I said, we're going to keep this movement going. We're going to have many more things. We're going to be linking together other veterans. We're going to have many more subjects that's going to actually help veterans transition and those that are seeking to work on their second, what'd you say, not retirement, but their second careers. There you go. To be working on their second careers. So, you know, we're going to continue to progress. So anybody else have any other shout outs that they had in the chat?
Oh, Rodney Sanchez, Rosa Gomez, Alicia Claypool, Bella. That's
Babila.
Yeah, no. That's all I got for right now. And Sadie Victor.
Sadie.
We got Spencer Butler. That's one of the kids I actually put in the Marine Corps. He's a staff sergeant now. Ryan Navarro, he's out there in 29. Actually, I think he's in Arizona now, out there in the desert. Sadowski, he did his time and he got out. Let's see, Casey Allen, there's another Marine that I put in, did his at least his 4. I think he did 8, and he punched. And Jay Tao, we were in Iwakuni together. For all my Iwakuni folk, they knew who Jay Tao is, especially back in like the 2014, 2015 time. He was crazy. Good people. Cordero Thomas was at food service company with me.
Hey.
We did a little exercise, extracurricular exercise, as you say, during lunchtime. Because I was in charge of BCP. Brian Cernuda, he made it to captain. Then he transitioned out as well. Thanks for showing up, sir. Appreciate that. Andrea Schwartz, good old Corporal Schwartz, PCS from Iwakuni to 29, and then he popped smoke and he went back to work with his dad. And I think it was Wisconsin. I think he was doing some roofing stuff. So appreciate you showing up, brother. Appreciate it.
Of course, he popped smoke. You went from overseas to going to 29 Palms. I'm like, I'm out too. I just pretend I didn't read a list. Just go ahead and can't those orders. You know what I'm saying? Just erase it right now. I don't want it. I've never wanted to go to 29 Palms. And it's so funny because I've been to 29 Palms a few times, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go back. But it's always people that are stationed. I'm like, oh, it's not as bad as it seems to be. Yes, it is.
Maybe if you haven't been anywhere, it's not as bad.
What's that?
So maybe if you haven't been anywhere else, it's not as bad. But if you've been anywhere else, it's no.
It's usually California. If you've been stationed in California, anywhere you go, it's gonna be like, But it's like if we were talking about this yesterday, if your first duty station is like Okinawa or something like that, or even if your first duty station is 29 Palms, everything from there, the grass is green on the other side. But if your first duty station is like Pendleton, you're spoiled. I'm sorry. You are absolutely spoiled, and most people don't want to leave. I knew somebody that was in the same unit for like 13 years. I'm like, bro, how?
Yeah. PCA.
All right, what other questions do we have for? Because I don't think I've gone over any of my questions. Has everybody asked one of their questions that they have written down?
Yep.
Okay, well I guess it's my turn then. So I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. Yeah, I want to keep talking about work. I don't want to talk about work. You know what I'm saying? What do I want to talk about? I want to say, what is the best show on Netflix? Yeah. I see your face already because I told you I was going to switch it up. I told you I was going to do it. Y'all wasn't ready for that. Also, y'all going to act like everybody's lost, huh?
I just got a lot. I've watched a lot of TV shows. I'm not a big movie person, so I watch a lot of TV shows.
Right. Oh, so you should have a whole bunch on deck. Cause listen, I guess it doesn't have to be a new one. I'm just saying that you've seen that on Netflix.
I would say my top two would be Dexter and Breaking Bad.
I keep hearing good things about those shows, but forgive me, I haven't seen them yet.
It's your loss.
I know. I keep hearing.
Very time consuming though.
Everybody keeps referencing Dexter, and I'm just like, oh yeah, Dexter. Oh, that's a good one, but I haven't seen it yet. What about you guys?
I think like my go-to show on Netflix is The Office, and I do like this one show. It's called Pose. You know about Pose? You know about Pose. If you don't,
Pose, like Pose?
yes.
Well, I'm gonna write it down with tight elbows. I'm gonna have to check that one. Is it still on Netflix right now?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that one out.
Oh, you know what? I did watch a movie on Netflix, Five Bloods. Now, it's not what you think. It's not like, gang, gang, gang. You saw it. You said no. You are
listen,
freaking loser.
watch this. If this is a full thumbs down, Five Bloods is like this.
Oh, you suck. There's how.
Honestly, I don't want to ruin it for anybody else. So, hey, go watch it because there's a lot of people that actually like that movie. And I don't want to seem like I'm just being a hater because I get a
You are. That movie was legit. I think it will resonate with a lot of veterans if they watched it.
Right. From that point of view, yes. I think the hard thing about a movie is the fact that it's visual. When you read a book, you can kind of create what you think it should be like. Like you just take all the description and you kind of imagine however you want it to be. But when you have someone telling you this is what it is by the way you look at it, I don't know. I just didn't like the way some of the I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to say it, but I don't like the way some of the events turned out. I thought that they could have written it a little bit better. I want to say it, but I just don't want to give it away. So I'm gonna just say it. Yeah, keep going. I don't want to take away from your shine. Yeah.
I'm done.
Come on, don't do me like that.
That's it. That's it.
Okay. What you got, Drew?
I think my go-to has been in 3 seasons so far is the Ozark.
Ooh, I heard good things about that. Ozark. I'm gonna write that down.
That's good. I watched the entire, like with what Tate said, man, Breaking Bad. I took leave for Christmas. We were supposed to do a family trip, and then one of my kids got sick, so we couldn't go anywhere. I binge watched the entire 5 seasons.
Really?
Oh man, it was like headphones in, making dinner, headphones in, washing the dishes, doing the laundry. Like it was. My wife's like, "What are you watching?" I'm watching Breaking Bad. She's like, "What's that?" I'm like, "You wouldn't like it." My wife doesn't understand American humor, so there's a lot of adult humor in it.
Right.
It was really good. And then my kids actually will watch Riverdale together, and then Once Upon a Time. So it's more of more of a kid show, but it's really detailed and it's pretty good. But I think that, and then The Blacklist. I watched quite a few episodes of The Blacklist.
Oh, there's my shit right there.
That's pretty good.
Hey, Ray's a bad dude, man.
Yeah.
God. You finished that list with a banger right there. Can I get a bell for that? Well, you better put some volume on that bell. That bell's broken. I think it's just metal. Oh, you on mute or what?
Can you hear it? No?
Oh, yeah. There we go. Oh, you better fix that little ting-a-ling-a-ling on the inside of that thing.
Peace out.
Here we go, right here. I got my list. Let's see. So I'm just gonna pick 4 of the ones that I actually enjoy. I might save the best for last. And you guys might say I'm cheesy for watching these, but honestly, I don't really watch TV all that much. But whenever a specific show kind of catches my eye, I kind of binge watch it, just like you said. So I'm gonna say the first one is Gotham. That show was dope. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but that show is definitely addicting. And they do a really good job at transitioning from one season to the next. It's not always just one subject. Like some of these shows, like you just have this one bad guy, and it's like the whole time. It's like, dude, man, come on, like increase the writing a little bit. So that show was really well put together, I believe. The other one is Arrow. I hate the fact that it had to end, but that show was very interesting. You guys haven't seen any of these, have you?
I saw Arrow.
Okay. Yeah, Arrow was dope. Arrow was dope. I really like that show. The next one is Daredevil. That show went hard. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully they keep putting new seasons out. I don't know. I like it. And the last but not least, The Punisher, which to me is one of the greatest shows Netflix has ever put out. Ever. And
That was
it'll
a
be
good show.
stupid if they don't continue that. And
Yeah, I think another
you
one that
haven't
was
seen it.
missed is Lucifer. Lucifer's pretty good. I've seen Ozark as well.
I
Lucifer's
haven't
really
seen
good.
Lucifer, but I keep hearing about it. Everyone's like, "Oh, new season of Lucifer." I'm like, I haven't seen it. I need to though.
You're missing out, bro.
Is it that good?
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. I'm gonna write it down. 'Cause I wrote down the other ones. I wrote down Riverdale, Pose, and Ozark. So Lucifer.
If you haven't seen Shooter, Shooter's another good one.
It's not.
It is a good one, yeah. Shooter. It's about a Marine sniper, so of course it's good.
Okay. Who's in that one?
Oh. God, not Mark Wahlberg. It's you had to ask me. I don't remember his name. I know what he looks like, but
Right. No, I definitely get that. Do you guys have anybody in the chat that's kind of going over their favorite shows for Netflix at all?
I got one that says Manifest.
Manifest. Who?
Oh, Manifest is good. That's
Yeah.
about what is it? The plane that goes missing and then it comes back, and it actually goes forward in time. But everybody that was on the plane stays the same age that they were.
I think I may have heard of that. I think.
It's
Sounds
good.
good though. What else? No other responses. What's that?
I think that's it.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have any other questions that they want to ask that they have written down? I have two more that I can kind of end on, but I want to wait till you guys get yours out of the way.
One more person for the TV said, "One day at a time." Said it's funny as fuck.
One day at a time. I've never heard of that one either. Y'all gonna have me like slacking in my work because I'm gonna be watching this.
I got one that just came through on the comedic side. It's called The Ranch.
The Branch?
The
Ranch.
Like cowboys out in Colorado. It's they have a lot of adult humor in that. There's a lot of cussing, so don't watch it around kids.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one either.
That's
Okay.
good. I've watched that one a couple times.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check these out. Yeah, I wrote all these down too. I'm gonna have to check these out and to see what it is at some point. Hey, that boy Victor Vianos, I appreciate it. Yeah, he was I think he ended up picking up. Did he pick up Massarn? I think he picked up Massarn before he actually retired, and he was on the depot with me. And hey, Chief One Officer Porsche, she said, "Is that Moody? Is that Moody?" Yeah,
Porsche.
that's Moody. Life with Moody.
Yeah.
Hey, Tyler Dougherty, what's good, man? He was one of my sergeant instructors down at when I was at Cobra's course. So I appreciate you, man. Anybody else got any other shows from Netflix in the chat? Awesome. So Theophilus Tor, what's going on? Appreciate you stopping by. So what other questions do we have that you guys created that so we can go over? I at least want to get these questions off. So whatever you guys have left, And then we'll see what the chat's talking about.
I'm good.
Nothing left. What about you, Sean?
I got one. If you were, I guess, going back in time, say you could not join the service, what do you think your career would have been? What route do you think you would have gone if service wasn't an option?
I would have been a chef.
So you've always wanted to cook then? This wasn't like a Marine Corps thing?
When I was at the Career Tech Center, I got accepted to Johnson Wales University in Rhode Island.
Okay.
So I looked at that. I was like, oh, cool, I got accepted. And then didn't have scholarships because, we were okay students in high school, so we didn't do all that well. We didn't, put our best foot forward until the end, and it was kind of too late. So I still love food service. I love culinary arts. I love, expressing my emotions through food and the satisfaction of feeding people really good food. And that's my passion. It's what I love doing. So, I mean, even now, I'm transitioning to do something else. I still want to pursue it. I might go back and get like a master's in culinary arts or hospitality management or something, or even open a food truck. So it's always been a passion of mine. So I think I would have stayed in that realm and maybe even been, restaurant manager or executive chef somewhere.
Nice. Yeah, I can definitely see that, especially with how you manage your chow hall. I can guarantee you have like a pretty lit restaurant. So I would say did you guys have any other ones real quick? Because I'm probably I want to finish with the last two.
I would just be a straight up, hustler. I'm making money moves.
A hustler. A legal
That's
hustler.
right. Make it rain all day. My daddy just joined. Shout out to my daddy. What's going on, brother?
Hey!
Where we at?
Daddy Moody. Yeah. What about you, Sean? What would you be?
I think I would have tried to be a student. I probably would have just been the champion at beer pong for a while until I failed out of school, and then.
Hey, my beer pong game is nasty now. I don't know.
From there, I'd probably be in business somewhere. I don't think I would have, without the exposure to aviation, I don't think I would have found my true love career-wise. So probably would have ended up crunching numbers somewhere for a business or doing something or other. I don't really know. That's why I asked the question.
Right.
Thinking back at it, and maybe 5-10 years from now, I have a better understanding of where I might have gone if I couldn't run the service. But right now, I honestly have no clue. I think the first step would have been the champion of beer pong, dropping out of school, and then probably figuring out my calling from there. Yep. Exactly.
I definitely would have did something sports related. And my thoughts, I think I would have, I know the opportunity isn't always the highest when it comes to on sports and stuff. Getting scholarships, there's a lot of different obstacles in order for you to actually be able to do that. But I think I would have found a way to find a way to play sports somehow, because that was really my only other dream, was to play sports. At some point I said I was going to do everything I can to make it to the NBA. Obviously that didn't happen. Hey, my skills is nice now. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, don't get it twisted. Hey, I'm nice with the, you know what I'm saying?
Somebody said he was nice at riding the pine. That's what I heard.
Stop it. Yo, my man's out of pocket. He said, Theophilus Tour, he's like, I would have been robbing or in jail. Quit snitching on yourself, bro. Because when you retire and if something happens, they might put you in the mix. Yeah, buddy. All right, so like I said, I got two more that we can kind of end on, because it's been a pretty long stream. It's been a long, fun, I love it, very enjoyable stream. Absolutely. So I want to say, if you can give, let's say 3, and we'll kind of make it a little bit shorter, not too long of a biography, but just kind of like hit each one and kind of move. If you can give 3 great leaders a shout out, who would they be? And it doesn't have to be someone higher ranking than you. It could be somebody that, it could be the PFC. It don't matter. Oh, so y'all just got some NJPers around you, huh? Y'all be hanging out with the Brig Marines, huh? All right. All right, well, I'm gonna go because y'all acting brand new right now. You got it?
You got to think about it though. You know, like you talk about like influencers, but not like senior Marines. So Chris Law is a really good friend of mine, and I met him in those circumstances. You know, he was one of those guys that did get in trouble and was trying to get pushed out, but he wanted to stay in. And I got a chance to work with him, be really good friends with him, and then, you know, he was one of those awesome guys. In the same unit, I have a really, really good friend. He was a retired Staff Sergeant Smith. Awesome dude. So he did his time. You know, got a chance to retire, picked up his master's degree. But really smart, awesome leader, and he mentored me really well in bringing me up to be a very junior staff sergeant. Like I got promoted with him, and he taught me like immensely. And then lastly, I think, you know, in the might be you know, a little farther out there, but now Colonel Markert, he was Lieutenant Colonel when he was our commanding officer of CLB 13. You talked about a sergeant major and a CEO being in sync. Those two right there, as greased as the best gear in the world. You know, those two on point. But Colonel Markert was the epitome of a CEO. He listened to the Marines, but he was firm, fair, and he dealt with things accordingly. And it was great to get a chance to see him go from a new lieutenant colonel as RCO to a colonel. And then I can see that man being a general in the next year or two. He's just that outstanding. And he was just a great person in general. So I appreciate his leadership, and that really stood out to me.
Nice. What about you guys? You guys got any? You guys ready yet? I
got
let's see what you got.
I would say I guess a hero I could say that's not a senior Marine is one of my Marines that just got his DD 214 today. So Mr. Jonathan Zennin. Everything didn't always go, you know, the way he wanted it to, but that Marine never showed up with like a negative attitude. Like any other Marine would just be like, you know, this is ridiculous, this is stupid, I quit, I'm getting out anyway. Till the last day, my man's he was all about it. And he maintained that attitude the entire time. So I really dug that and looked up to him. So that meant, like, you know, when I have my shitty days, you know, he's out here doing his end. That's the Lance Corporal right there. So if the Lance Corporal can find something to smile about, you damn sure better find something to smile about.
Facts. I like it. What you got, Sean?
All right, I might have one more than 3, but you know, it's hard to pick a top 3. It's a lot of influences. I would say my first influence was Alan Johnson. He was at my first unit. Yeah, Sergeant Johnson at the time. He's out now.
Yep.
But you know, when I checked in, he kind of took me under his wing. He was a Lance Corporal. I was a PFC, and he just took me under his wing the whole way. And then he moved to Iwakuni, and I did a few months after, until he got out. We were both there. So I followed him around for a bit, and then also another one from 101 to Iwakuni, and then to my 3rd unit in 5 years was now Staff Sergeant R.S.T. Zabal. He's my first roommate when I checked into the fleet, PFC, and he was a corporal, and then he moved from 101 to 242, and I did as well. And right before he left 242, he was like, "You're gonna come work for me at 314." I was like, "No, I'm not. That's not happening." Me and him were good friends at our first unit, not so much our second. And then I go into Master Sergeant Brown's office at the time to try and get orders out at Iwakuni because I was cutting it pretty close. And I'm like, I want to go wherever they're going to the Middle East next. So I was like, I don't care, West Coast, East Coast, doesn't matter. So I ended up going to 314, not even thinking about it. So all three of my units, he was there mentoring me, even peers for a bit at one moment. And, they're pretty big influences in my career. And then Staff Sergeant Wagner was probably one of the most knowledgeable airframe mechanics. And he just, I don't know, he led us through, and he took care of the whole shop, which meant a lot. And then my last one would be my last Sergeant Major before I got out, Sergeant Major McKinley. I had a little rough patch my last year, and he punished me as fit, but the next day treated me like a man still, and that's the biggest thing, and that's what kept me going until the day I got out. So just his mentorship and treating me like a man throughout the rest of my enlistment on deployment, and letting me still lead Marines even with a little hiccup in my career. That was right. That was a very big moment for me, and I appreciate that he did that.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I appreciate people that do that. It's like, set it, you know what I'm saying? Like, hit him with the punishment and just move on. Like, and that's how I felt Sergeant Major Captain was, sometimes you gotta take your licks, and then it's like, I already forgot about it, move on. So let me hit mine real quick, and then I got, like I said, one more question, then we can kind of do our closing parts after that. So the first one I want to say, Staff Sergeant Hinton, I'm not sure if he pinned on already, but let me tell you like a story about this dude. He checked in as a Lance Corporal, just picked up meritorious, goes on a corporal's board, and I was actually in charge. Well, I was one of the inspectors for the board and for the drill portion of it. I tried my damnedest to hit him on something. I tried. I even told my boy, I was like, look, I may have a bias. He's in my shop. Like, keep me honest on this one. Can you find a correction to hit this dude on? He's like, dude, I don't know. I can't find nothing. The 6 and center, like command presence. Literally, there was nothing to hit him on. And this is a Lance Corporal on a corporal board marching a group of NCOs flawlessly. So he ends up getting meritorious corporal that way, ends up picking up sergeant afterwards. When he was a PFC, he was literally like, me and him kind of checked in at the same time. Obviously, I have other responsibilities. He was literally, as a Lance Corporal, he was teaching me how to do the special inspections, like verbatim. Like, this dude was like, I've never had anyone that soaked up so much knowledge so fast and never forgot it. It was crazy. He always set the example, never complained. I don't remember one time ever seeing him complain about anything. He was always the go-to guy for even the higher rank. The sergeants would go to him when he was a Lance Corporal. Amazing friggin' Marine. And I've never met anyone to say one bad thing about this guy. So Sergeant Hinton, or Staff Sergeant Hinton, I'm not sure if you pinned on already. Hey, shout out to you, my guy. Next one is Staff Sergeant McKinley. Right now he's on, I'm not sure if he's back from recruiting duty, but this dude had the craziest type poise. His brain is crazy. The dude is so damn smart. All the Marines flock to him. It's crazy. And he just like, it was just, all nonchalant about everything. Amazing leader. Me and him like just had this type of relationship that we ended up getting, and it was just like it was just flawless the way he ran the shop. I'm not sure. I'm sure he's a first sergeant or a master sergeant by now, or maybe he retired. Gunner Sergeant Partridge, as I know him from, he was my QA chief when I was in QA and at 242. The dude was so damn smart. It was ridiculous. Not afraid to go out to the flight line. Always backed me up on anytime I wanted to audit or inspect somebody. Just amazing leader, and I don't think he ever got the credit that he deserves. So shout out to you. And my last two for that is Staff Sergeant Peters. Right now he's a reservist, but he was a drill instructor with me. The dude, once again, his poise is crazy. Very intelligent, very physically fit. He was a sniper. And it's just like he had this like aura about him where people just flocked to him and listened to him. And it's just like I always try to grab something from his characteristic that I can use for myself. So Southside Peters, I appreciate you, my guy. And the last one is kind of like what's it called when you not a runner-up, but anyways, Sergeant Major Diaz. He was the very first time I met him. I came back from WCI, and I just picked up corporal like the day that I went to WCI. I came back. We had a new sergeant major, and I'm walking off the airplane thinking I'm somebody. I'm like chewing gum, popping Bubblicious on the flight line, coming back, and I just see somebody from like a mile away like this. I'm just like, what the I come over there. He's like, why the hell are you chewing gum? Spit it out. And the next time I see you chewing gum, I'll put my foot in your ass. I was like, whoa. I've never even met this dude. But he took the comfort out of me. I was like, oh, I am chewing gum. My bad. I never chewed gum and walked in uniform again at that point. And you know how it is being in the air wing. Sometimes when people don't enforce those rules, especially as like a younger Marine, you know, you get molded at that point. So when you see your leaders doing it, sometimes you kind of follow those bad habits. And I did that, and I'm glad he put a foot in my ass and didn't let me do that shit again. So shout out to you, Sergeant Major. I know you're retired by now because this was like 15 years ago or some shit. So thank you very much. So I got one question left that we can kind of leave on. I know we kind of been going at this for a while. Some of y'all looking kind of tired. Your boys got all the type of energy in the world. You know what I'm saying? But what would you say is I know we kind of talked about like different regrets, but like what do you think is your biggest regret? Like it could be in life, in the military, or something you didn't do, something you did do, and you're like, damn, I wish I didn't do that.
I wish I wouldn't have got NJP'd.
You want to talk about what you did or not?
I was on MSG. It was a UA. It was detachment commander. Some of the Marines didn't like him, and he tried using me as the scapegoat to narc on the other Marines, and I told him I'm not doing that. That's not a lawful order, and he called a meeting to his office, and I said, that's not lawful. I'm not going to it. And the bad part is I put that in writing to another fellow Marine in a different embassy, and so he caught me with actually having it written down that I didn't plan on going to, a meeting, and my point of place of duty was not where I was supposed to be, and so I took my licks, but I learned from it, and I definitely would have rather have gone back and just gone to the meeting myself and been like, "Hey, boss, everybody's gone. Sorry." So looking back on it, hindsight's 2020. So,
damn, and you still pretty much would have made it to Master Guns. So obviously that says the caliber of Marine you were. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You are. That's awesome. What about you, Sean?
I don't like saying I regret things, so this is a tough one for me.
Pretend you like saying it.
Yeah. No, I'm not a big fan of it. I like to see it. I don't regret things. I just learn from it. I would say, I had an NJP as well. I wouldn't say I regret that one bit. I think it actually turned me into a lot better of a leader and a Marine and a mechanic. So I don't regret that one bit. Probably consuming myself too much in work. I regret that a little bit. That was my life. It was in the Marine Corps, it was work, sleep, and then on the weekends we'd go drink, and that's it. And sometimes that drinking, on the weekends, could have been used a little bit better. So maybe, a little less nights out and a little more doing adventurous things instead of, just exploring all the bars and every place you went. If I could go back, I'd probably be a little more adventurous, instead of hitting every bar in Guam, maybe go scuba diving one day or charter fishing or, something fun other than going out and blowing all your money that you're making out there. But then again, I don't really regret those bar times either because they're, crazy experiences with my friends. They're, unspeakable moments for social media, but very fun.
That's awesome. What about you, T?
I think if I had to say something that I probably regret, is that when I was a sergeant and I was in Iwakuni, I had an opportunity to go to the Culinary Institute of America, and I turned it down because I said, oh, I'm not going to do food service when I get out, so I don't see the need to do it. Not thinking that, it's not just for when you get out. I could have very well taken that and done more with it, with the skills I learned there, and brought it back to my Marines. But, I wasn't thinking like that. That was like a young sergeant move. And at times I'm like, damn, I should have did it, because I did the advanced staff NCO course. Big shout out to Fort Lee out there still kicking it and doing great things. We got an opportunity to do advanced culinary, and it was awesome. It was amazing. And one thing that I learned is a lot of times that the fancy dishes are just simple dishes with fancy names. So but it'd have been awesome to, and I brought that back to my Marines. But what if I would have had that as a sergeant and just on it even more? How much awesome would it have been for my field mess, to experiment and do something different out there. So.
Nice. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Very selfless. To finish off, I would say some of my biggest regrets would be I kind of spoke about it yesterday on last night's Ask a Vet, was just investing in real estate and just, saving money and invest and not worried about the newest car or, coming back after a deployment and blowing your money on just stupid stuff. It's saving, because I can just imagine like where I would be at had I had the same knowledge that I have now back then, as far as how many different properties that I could have, how many different investment opportunities I could have already created, having an established brand already. And had I started working on a brand 15 years ago, 10 years ago, vice 5 years ago, or 3-4 years ago, maybe I'd be in a different position. But just like Sean said about not regretting, I can't really regret it, because who knows if we'd be sitting here today, on this platform, doing something that I love to do. I love what I do right now. And there's no amount of money that can replace what you love doing. I truly enjoy this. I truly enjoy the outcome, the people that are interacting with us, and just the idea of how many lives that we can actually change. So, if I had to pick a regret, that would actually be it. But I love this. So.
Yeah, I think a common one for probably a lot of Marines that only did 4 or 5 years would be not using TA. That's probably actually my biggest regret, is not taking, a few of those classes. I'm paying for it now, going full time. And spending too much money on stuff that you just shouldn't have. That's probably a pretty common regrets for a lot of people that served.
Yeah.
Like things that just don't matter, so. All right, everybody. I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate everybody that's still here in the chat, that stuck with us, all 14. Hey, thank you guys so much. Because of you guys, we were able to hit more numbers than we did yesterday. We're going to continue to grow this platform. And I want to give a special thanks to Sean, Drew, and obviously, me and Team Money. We're going to be continuing to tag team this together. But I appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to get back to the veteran community, and just to get back to the community in general, to share your story with everybody. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We're going to continue to build this platform, and we can't do it without people like you guys for taking time out. So thank you guys first and foremost. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? What I want to leave the community with is always let you guys know when you can see us next. So as of right now, we're kind of spontaneous as far as how we're doing our lives. But hey, just when y'all least expect it, we gonna pop up.
Boom.
And we pulling up on y'all. You know what I'm saying? We letting you know we here to stay. And no matter however we have to adjust it, we're gonna continue to do this, because I definitely think it's important. Like look at how many we have, like 40 veterans in here, just sharing their stories and asking questions and answering questions and just being involved in what we got going on. And it's only going to get better from here. So first of all, like I want to say, tight elbows. Please help support your fellow veterans. All right. Tight Elbows 1775 on Instagram, on Facebook. know what I'm saying? Hit her up in the DMs. You know, it goes down in the DM. It go down. It go. You know what I'm saying? You know, hit her up in the DMs. Get that merch, that gear. You know what I'm saying? Hey, and make sure when you guys get it, take a picture of it. You know what I'm saying? We wanna post you guys on our social media. You know, and we want to let the world know that you guys are out there supporting us and that how much we appreciate each and every one of you guys. If you are trying to start a business or trying to do anything as well, make sure you get with T Moody with Tight Elbows, because she's going to be able to help you push your merchandise out and help you to market that as well. And
hey, with Tight Elbows, I create and do all my own stuff. There is no third party. So no one prints my shirts. No one prints my caps. No one prints my mugs. Any of the apparel that you see that I have, I've done it all myself. That's why it's that custom work for you. And I'm not trying to overcharge you like these other companies would do you. So you have to mark your stuff up 20 times higher than what it is, and then people don't buy it. Now you're stuck with a product that you can't push. I'm here to help you push that product. Sounding like a drug dealer, but nah. Tight Elbows.
She the plug, people. Last but not least, you know what I'm saying? Veteran influencers, you know what I'm saying? Shirts out now. I'll have the links to some of the videos that we have. You know what I'm saying? Got tank tops, ain't got the muscles for sale, but you know what I'm saying? You might be able to fill it out. You know what I'm saying? Got hoodies, got regular shirts. You know, we're going to have some hats, all different type of things coming in the near future. You know what I'm saying? Got them socks for the ladies. We got the tights, you know what I'm saying, with the veteran influencers on it. So, and once again, I've already had somebody take a picture, and, you know, I posted on my social media. Let me know if you guys do purchase. Take a picture of it. Make sure you let me know. Tag me in it so that I can support you guys as well while you're supporting me. So, any other last parting words, Sean or Drew?
I mean, if there's anyone watching that needs any education help, I guess, math, sciences, except for physics, haven't taken that yet, feel free to reach out to me. Any VA advice, I mean, a VSO or any veteran reps probably better than me, but if you just need a quick message, feel free to message me about that. Really, just anything that you know, maybe active duty have questions on as they are on their way out. I'm usually pretty available, so just feel free to message me. At? Facebook probably be the best. Just Sean Tate. I'll actually drop a link in here for. Let's see.
And we'll all eventually put our links in there. What about you?
Yeah,
Drew?
I'll actually I'll drop my email in here. I check it daily, or Facebook. If you have me on Facebook, that works too. But yeah, any questions, probably get back to you within a day. If I see it right away, I'll get back to you right then. So
awesome.
Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. I appreciate you being on. What you got, Drew?
So lastly, I think this is big, and it's been going on for a long time, is the 22 veterans. So a lot of the suicides that go on, I challenged somebody that I'm looking at right now a couple days ago. I haven't seen any videos yet, but I'm just throwing it out there. It's for all the veterans that decide. Me? Yeah, you.
I didn't see a tag. I'll go back to it. Yeah, I didn't see anything.
But and that's just the biggest thing, is getting the word out there, getting the support and the services that are available, and just using them, making sure that if you see something on social media that somebody is hurting and they're looking for help, you know, being that one to reach out to them, not just send a message, but give them a call, make sure they have somebody, and you know, take them and make sure they get help immediately. Don't think that somebody else is going to do it. If you see it, you need to take action on it and be the one to influence them and take care of them. So.
Absolutely. So like I said, every Wednesday night, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, please push that word out. Like I said, I want to make this so freaking big. I want this to be a huge veteran movement. Every Wednesday night, 5:30 p.m., I have a different guest on my YouTube channel, veteran_influencers. We go live. We always have a guest speaking about a specific subject that impacts the veteran community, and it also they talk about their early life, so you can kind of get a picture of who they are. And then that, that podcast helped to give birth to this, the Ask a Vet. So continue to support the movement. I'm telling you right now, we have improved drastically from the beginning. If you've seen our early videos to where we are now, and we're only going to get bigger. Salute to each and every one of you guys for supporting and sharing out the feeds, liking, comment, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Thank you guys so much, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys. So if you guys don't have nothing else, last little parts, going once, going twice. We out.